Hello student, myself Ms. Shrutali Pirankar. I am working as a lecturer in IIP Sadavli College. Here we discuss about the glycolysis. So glycolysis pathway comes under the metabolism of carbohydrate. Here we see first of all the learning outcomes of this topic. So first we will discuss in detail about what is meant by glycolysis. Then we will proceed towards what is the process of glycolysis both in aerobic and anaerobic conditions. Okay, so aerobic and anaerobic conditions, what is the process of glycolysis? Aerobic in the sense in presence of oxygen, anaerobic in the sense lack of oxygen. So both conditions, what is the process of glycolysis, what is the pathway of glycolysis, we will discuss in detail. Then number of ATP get formed and utilized during the glycolysis. So total energetics of glycolysis we will discuss here. Then last part we will discuss, that is regulation of glycolysis pathway. So now we will start to the our main core topic, that is glycolysis. So glycolysis means what? So glycolysis is a word which divides into the two words, that is glyco. Glyco means glucose and second word is that lysis. So lysis means breakdown. Okay, so glycolysis is nothing but the breakdown of glucose, that is metabolism of glucose. So glycolysis takes place in the cytosol of the cell, that is in the cytoplasm of the cell. Glucose enters the glycolysis pathway by conversion to glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, so it is a prior first step of glycolysis where glucose molecule get converts into the glucose 6-phosphate, and then after the glycolysis pathway get run. So here it is a structure, you see that it is an glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, so 6 number of carbon containing phosphorus group get attached to the glucose molecule. Now we will proceed towards the actual pathway of glycolysis. So this is the first step of glycolysis pathway, step 1. So here you see the glucose molecule get converts into the glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, so for this conversion, hexokinase enzyme is essential for the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, and here it is one ATP molecule get converts into the ADP molecule, that is adenosine triphosphate get converts into the adenosine diphosphate. Okay, so here it is one phosphorus get cleavage to from ATP and get cleaved and get added to the glucose structure, and there is formation of glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, so simply dephosphorylation and phosphorylation reaction takes place. So for this reaction, here it is magnesium which acts as an cofactor, and this is a very essential element for the activation of this hexokinase and cleavage of this phosphorus from the ATP structure. So this is the overall reactions along with the structure. Glucose molecule and ATP, these are the requirement for this first step, and get converts into the glucose 6-phosphate and adenosine diphosphate. So glucose is spontaneously phosphorylated to glucose 6-phosphate by hexokinase enzyme. The ATP binds to the enzyme as complex with the magnesium ion. Then we will proceed to the next step of the glycolysis, step 2. Here you can see that the glucose 6-phosphate get converts into the fructose 6-phosphate. For this conversion, phosphoglucose isomerase enzyme is essential. So it is an isomerase class type of enzyme. So the reactions takes place is that isomerization means it having same chemical formula but different structural formula. Fructose 6-phosphate which having different structural formula than that of glucose 6-phosphate. The mechanism involves the acid-base catalysis with the ring opening, isomerization via an enediolate intermediate, and then ring closure. So simply isomerization reaction takes place. First rings opens, then structural changes can happen, and then enediol intermediates get formed, and then again ring closure, and there is formation of fructose 6-phosphate. Next, we will proceed to the step third of glycolysis, whereas the fructose 6-phosphate get converts into the fructose 1,6-bis-phosphate. Okay, so here it is, you can see that one ATP molecule get utilized and get converts into the ADP. So simply dephosphorylation, and here it is phosphorylation reaction takes place. So already sixth position there is phosphorus group present, then addition of another phosphorus group at the 1 carbon position, that's why it's named like fructose 1,6-bis-phosphate. Bis means 2, so 2 phosphorus group attached to this structure. The fructose 6-phosphate is a spontaneously phosphorylated to fructose 1,6-biphosphate for by phosphofructokinase enzyme, which is responsible for this reaction, and magnesium, which acts as an cofactor. Okay, so this enzyme, ATP and magnesium cofactor, so these are the requirement elements for this conversion. The phosphofructokinase reactions is the rate limiting step of the glycolysis. The enzyme is highly regulated, as we will discuss the latter. Okay, so this step of the reactions which is act as a rate limiting step. Okay, so by activation and deactivation of the enzyme phosphofructokinase, the rate of the reactions, rate of the glycolysis pathway we will manage. Then we will proceed toward the fourth step of the glycolysis. Here you can see that this is a splitting stage of glycolysis. So here fructose 1,6-bisphosphate get converts into the this 3 carbon containing 2 compounds, that is dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, so for this conversion aldolase enzyme is essential. So these two products get formed, which are interchangeable into the each other with the help of enzyme triose phosphate isomerase. Okay, so triose phosphate isomerase enzyme, which is essential or required for the conversion of this dihydroxyacetone phosphate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, so furthermore glycolysis pathway run through the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecules. Okay, so glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecule is required for the further running of the glycolysis. So here it is dihydroxyacetone phosphate molecule present, which also converts into the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate with the help of enzyme triose phosphate isomerase. So you can observe that from this splitting stage we have 2 glyceraldehyde molecules. Okay, so furthermore running of the glycolysis pathway which having 2 molecules, that is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So next step of glycolysis, step 6, where glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecule get converts into the 1,3-biphosphoglycerate molecules. Okay, so here it is dehydrogenation reaction takes place. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme is essential for conversion of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. So here it is one NAD molecule get utilized and get converts into the NADH molecules. Okay, so you have to know that NADH molecules when goes into the electron transport chain, from one molecule of NADH plus S there is 3 molecules of ATP get formed. Next we will proceed toward the step 7 of the glycolysis. So here it is 1,3-biphosphoglycerate molecule form which converts into the 3-phosphoglycerate. So in this step of conversion, one molecule of ADP get utilized and get converts into the ADP. Okay, so simply dephosphorylation reactions takes place. This released phosphorus get accepted by this ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, and there is formation of ATP. So one molecule of ATP get generated through this step. This phosphate transfer is a reversible. Since one phosphorus bond is cleaved and another is synthesized, the enzyme undergoes substrate-induced conformational changes similar to that of hexokinase enzyme. Next step of the glycolysis, that is 8th step of glycolysis, in which 3-phosphoglycerate molecule get converts into the 2-phosphoglycerate molecules. Okay, so for this conversion phosphoglycerate mutase enzyme is essential. Here it is simply mutation reaction takes place. This third number of phosphorus group get mutated or get transferred to the second carbon. Here you can see that phosphorus gets shifted towards the second carbon atom. So phosphate is shifted from the hydroxy on C3 to the hydroxyl to C2. Next step of the glycolysis, that is 9th step, that is in which this 2-phosphoglycerate form get converts into the phosphoenol pyruvate molecules. Okay, so for the conversion of 2-phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate, there is formation of one intermediate product, enolate intermediate, which is unstable in nature and thereby get converted into the stable structure by phosphoenol, converted into the stable structure of phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of enzyme enolase. So this dehydration reaction is magnesium ion dependent. Two magnesium ions interact with the oxygen atom of the substrate carboxyl group at the active site, and the magnesium ions helps to stabilize the enolate ion intermediate. Okay, so for this magnesium ion is essential, which acts as a cofactor which requires for the activation of enolase and for the stabilization of this enolate intermediate. Next, we will proceed towards the last step of glycolysis, that is conversion of this phosphoenol pyruvate into the pyruvate. Okay, so here you can see pyruvate kinase enzyme is required for this conversion, and ADP molecule get converts into the ATP. So another molecule of ATP gets synthesized, gets generated through this step. Okay, so simply here it is, the dephosphorylation takes place. This release phosphorus molecule accepted by adenosine diphosphate and get converts into the ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, and there is pyruvate molecule get formed. Now we can see the overall glycolysis pathway step by step. First step, we have to see that glucose get converts into the glucose 6-phosphate through the hexokinase enzyme. Here it is, one ATP molecule get utilized. So you have to remember how many molecules of ATP get utilized and how many molecules of ATP get generated. Okay. Next, second step, where is glucose 6-phosphate get converts into the fructose 6-phosphate through the enzyme phosphoglucose isomerase. Next step, in which fructose 6-phosphate get converts into the fructose 1,6 biphosphate through phosphofructokinase enzyme. Here it is, again one molecule of ATP get utilized and get converts into the ADP molecule. Next step of glycolysis, that is splitting step. Here it is, fructose 1,6 biphosphate get converts into the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate with the help of enzyme aldolase. So for the furthermore running of glycolysis, we have to know that we require glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecules. And also we have to know that dihydroxyacetone and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate which is interchangeable to each other. So that's why the dihydroxyacetone molecule also converts into the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecule with the help of enzyme triose phosphate isomerase. Okay, so from this step we get two molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, so furthermore pathway of glycolysis run 2 times from this splitting step. So from this step there is two molecules get run through the reaction. So glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converts into the 1,3 biphosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Here it is, one NADH plus H molecule get generated. Okay. Next step is that 1,3 biphosphoglycerate get converts into the 3-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase. Here it is, one molecule of ATP get generated. Okay, next step, that is 3-phosphoglycerate get converts into the 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme phosphoglycerate mutase. Okay, next step, that is 2-phosphoglycerate get converts into the phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of enzyme enolase. And last step of the glycolysis pathway, that is phosphoenol pyruvate get converts into the pyruvate with the help of enzyme pyruvate kinase. Here it is, one molecule of ATP get generated. So this is an reflection spot where you have to think about the question like how many ATPs form during the glycolysis. Okay, so how many number of ATP get utilized, how many number of ATPs get generated, and thereby how many ATPs get formed during the glycolysis of process. So you have to think on that, take a 5 minutes of break, you pause the video and write in your notebook how many ATPs get generated through glycolysis process. After that 5 minutes, you have play the video and check the answer whether it's right or wrong. So here it is a balance sheet of ATP. So how many ATP get utilized? So first of all, we will think about the how many ATPs get utilized. So as we discussed earlier, there are 2 ATP get utilized. Okay. Then how many phosphorus bonds of ATP produced? In this, total 10 ATPs get produced. So we will discuss step by step. You have to know that 2 ATP get synthesized after the splitting stage and 1 molecule of NADH get synthesized. So this 2 ATP and 1 DH enters into the electron transport chain. So from this 1 NADH plus H molecule, 3 ATP molecule get utilized or generated. So that 3 ATPs and these 2 ATPs, total 5 ATPs get formed. So as we know from the splitting stage, these cycles run by this pathway run in twice. So that's why 5 plus 5 total 10 ATPs get generated. So 10 ATPs get generated, 2 ATPs get utilized. So now we have to think that net production of ATPs. So 10 minus 2 is equal to 8 ATPs. So after a running of glycolysis pathway in our body, our body get total 8 ATPs. So we will discuss step by step. So step 1, there is 1 ATP molecule get utilized. Okay, where is glucose converted into the glucose 6-phosphate. So in this step of conversion, there is 1 molecule of ATP utilized. And in step 3, 1 molecule of ATPs get utilized. So these 2 ATPs which are we will calculate at ATPs get utilized. Okay. Now step 6, where glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converted into the 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. Here it is 1 NADH plus H gets synthesized. As we discussed, 1 NADH plus H is equal to 3 ATPs. In step 7, 1 ATPs get generated where 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate get converted into the 3-phosphoglycerate step. Okay, so here it is 1 ATPs get synthesized, and last step, step 10, where 1 ATP molecule get generated where phosphoenol pyruvate get converts into the pyruvate molecules. Okay, so this togetherly total 10 ATPs get generated and 2 ATPs get utilized. So total ATPs 8 ATPs from the glycolysis. So this is a balance sheet for glycolysis. 2 ATPs get utilized, 10 ATPs get produced. So that's why total net production of ATP for the glycolysis is 8. Okay. Now we have to see the overall glycolysis process where glucose molecule get utilized, 2 NAD molecule get utilized, 2 ADP molecule plus 2 phosphorus molecule get utilized, and resultant products are 2 pyruvate molecule we will get, 2 NADH molecule get, and 2 ATP molecules. So this glycolysis pathway we will see in aerobic conditions where there is oxygen in presence of oxygen. Now we will see the glycolysis pathway when run in anaerobic conditions. Okay, so we have to see in both aerobic and anaerobic. So in aerobic organism, pyruvate produced in the glycolysis is oxidized to carbon dioxide via Krebs cycle. Okay, so in aerobic organisms, the end product of the glycolysis that is pyruvate, which goes into the Krebs cycle. Okay, and through the Krebs cycle, there is production of carbon dioxides and energy, ATPs. The NADH which is formed, the next product of our glycolysis product in aerobic condition, that is NADH. So NADH which is transferred to the respiratory chain, and there is production of additional ATPs. Okay, and ATP is used by our body for their normal functioning and growth purpose. Now we have to discuss what the glycolysis pathway in anaerobic conditions. So anaerobic organism means lack of respiratory chain, lack of oxygen molecule. Okay. So they must reoxidize NADH produced in the glycolysis through some other reactions, because NAD is needed for the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase action. Usually NADH is reoxidized as pyruvate is converted to more reduced compound. The complete pathway including glycolysis and reoxidation of NADH molecule is called as fermentation. Okay, so we will discuss that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converts into the 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. So here it is, one molecule of NADH get synthesized. Okay, so in anaerobic condition, that NADH molecules which is produced in the glycolysis, because of NAD is needed for glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. So usually NADH is reoxidized as a, so this formed NADH which is undergoes reoxidations, and that can be used for the conversion of these pyruvates into the more reduced form. Okay, so this process is known as anaerobic reoxidation, and this process is known as the fermentation process. Okay, so this is the additional one more step for the glycolysis when this pathway runs under the anaerobic condition. So this form end product of the glycolysis, that is pyruvate, get converts into the lactate. Okay, so here it is, pyruvate get converts into the lactate. So one NADH molecule get utilized for the conversion of this pyruvate into the lactate and get converts into the NAD. So lactate dehydrogenase, it is an enzyme which is responsible required for the conversion of pyruvate to lactate, catalyze the reduction of the keto in the pyruvate to hydroxy. Okay, so keto group get reduced into the hydroxy group, and yield product is that lactate as a NADH is oxidized to NAD. The lactate, in addition to being an end product of fermentation, serves as a mobile form of nutrient energy and possibly as a signal molecule in the mammalian organism. Okay, so these are the functions served by the lactate. The cell membrane contain carrier protein that facilitate the transport of lactate. Okay, so this all process which will be carried into the cytoplasm of the cell. So this lactate which is formed in the cytoplasm, which get transported to the into the blood and into the other part of the body through the proteins, carrier proteins, which facilitate the transport of lactate. So skeletal muscles ferment glucose to lactate during the exercise. As we know, when we exercise more frequently, so in our blood the oxygen level get reduced. Okay, so in that conditions the lactate is produced in our body. So when the exercise is brief and intense, in that condition the glycolysis end product is lactate. The lactate released to the blood may be taken up by the other tissue or by the skeletal muscle after the exercise and get converted by the lactate dehydrogenase back to pyruvate. Okay, so this is, you have to see, this is an two arrows reaction. So this is an reversible reactions. Okay, so lactate released during the exercise or anaerobic conditions, which may be taken by blood and by other tissue or by skeletal muscle. So after exercise, once we finish the exercise, our blood glucose level get increased. So in that condition, that lactate again converts into the pyruvate with the help of lactate dehydrogenase enzyme, and then form pyruvate can be utilized for the Krebs cycles. Okay, or converted back to the glucose via gluconeogenesis pathway. So these are the two pathways which will be for the metabolism process of that glucose. So lactate serves as a fuel source for the cardiac muscle as well as brain. Okay, so lactate form which serves as a fuel source for the cardiac muscles and for the brain neurons. The astrocytes which surrounds and protect the neurons in the brains. So astrocyte cells which is present and functions like surrounding and protections of the neurons and brain, ferment glucose to lactate and release it. So lactate taken up by the adjacent neuron is converted to the pyruvate, and that is oxidized via Krebs cycle. Okay, so there is another condition in anaerobic organism. So this pyruvate is formed again converts into the ethanol. Okay, so in this conversion to from pyruvate to ethanol, there is intermediate form, that is acetaldehyde, and pyruvate decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase. These two enzymes are essential for this conversion. So pyruvate firstly converts into the acetaldehyde, and then this acetaldehyde get converts into the ethanol. So here it is, one molecule of NADH get utilized and get converts into the NAD. Okay. So some anaerobic organism metabolize pyruvate to ethanol, which is excreted as an waste product. So ethanol is formed, which is excreted as an waste product in the anaerobic organism. The NADH is converted to NAD in the reaction and catalyzed by the alcohol dehydrogenase. So this is the enzyme which is essential for the conversion of this acetaldehyde into the ethanol. Okay. So we will see the overall pathway of the glycolysis. So glycolysis, we require a glucose molecule, 2 NAD molecule, 2 ADP molecule, 2 phosphorus molecule, which get converts into the 2 pyruvate molecule, 2 NADH molecule, and 2 ATP molecule. Okay, suppose the glycolysis run in anaerobic organism, that is fermentation from glucose to lactate. We required 1 glucose, 2 ADP, 2 phosphorus, that converts into the 2 lactate molecule and 2 ATP molecule. So anaerobic catabolism of the glucose yields only 2 high energy bonds of ATP. Okay, so when this pathway run in anaerobic condition, so yield of ATP is only 2, because we have to know that one NADH molecule get utilized for the conversion of the pyruvate into the lactate molecule. Okay, so for this conversion, one NADH molecule get utilized. So total 3 ATP get utilized, and 3 plus 3 is equal to total 6 ATPs. So 8 minus 6 is equal to 2 ATPs. So that's why the ATP yield is 2. Now we have to see the regulation of that glycolysis pathway. So flux through the glycolysis pathway is regulated by control of 3 enzymes that catalyze the spontaneous reactions of glycolysis. So major 3 enzymes, that is hexokinase, phosphofructokinase, and pyruvate kinase. Okay, so these 3 enzymes which is responsible for regulation of that glycolysis pathway. So there are 2 type of controls or regulatory mechanism to control the glycolysis pathway. First is that local control of metabolism that involves the regulatory effect of varied concentrations of the pathway substrate or intermediate to benefit the cell. Okay, so here it is, some substrate and intermediate molecule form during the pathway which is responsible for the control over these reactions. Next control is that global control is for the benefit of the whole organism and often involves the hormone activated signal cascade. Okay, so this control is depends upon generally hormones which is activated and act as a signal cascade. So liver cells have a major role in the metabolism, including maintaining blood levels, various of the nutrients such as glucose. Okay, so main important role in the body, which is played by the liver. So this global control especially involves liver. Some aspects of the global controls by the hormone activated signal cascade will be discussed later. So here we discuss about the one enzyme, that is hexokinase is inhibited by the product glucose 6-phosphate. So here it is, the local control can be applied for this. So this product which is formed glucose 6-phosphate which regulate this step. So by competition at the active site and by allosteric interactions at the separate enzyme sites. Okay, so this product get compete with attached to the hexokinase and thereby stop the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. So cell traps glucose by phosphorylating it and preventing exit of the glucose carrier. Okay, so this glucose 6-phosphate product, so ample of amount of glucose 6-phosphate is present, then it will be compete with the glucose to attach to the hexokinase and thereby prevent the phosphorylation of glucose. So product inhibition of the hexokinase ensures that the cells will not continue to accumulate glucose from the blood, and if within the cells is ample. Okay, so that's why we have to know that once the glucose blood level get increased, then excess amount of glucose comes into the cell and undergoes the glycolysis pathway. Okay, so this product of inhibition of hexokinase ensures that the cell will not continue to accumulate glucose from the blood. Okay, so the accumulation of the glucose from blood to cell get controlled by the product. So pyruvate kinase, the last step of the glycolysis, is controlled in the liver partially by the modulation of the amount of enzyme. So we will proceed toward the next enzyme, that is pyruvate kinase, which is essential for conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate. So high glucose within the liver cell causes the transcription factor carbohydrate responsive element binding protein to be transferred into the nucleus, where it activates transcriptions of the gene of pyruvate kinase. Okay, so here it is, this proteins comes into these enzymes and causes transcription of their genes, due to which the pyruvate kinase activities get altered or inhibited. That's why there is conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate get inhibited. So this is an global type of control, that is so high glucose within the liver cell causes transcription from the carbohydrate responsive element binding protein to be transferred into the nucleus, and where it activates the transcription of gene from pyruvate to kinase. Okay. The next, this facilitates converting excess glucose to pyruvate, which is metabolized to acetyl-CoA and the main precursor of the synthesis of fatty acid for long-term energy storage. Okay, so thereby this pyruvate get converts into the acetyl-CoA. Okay, and this acetyl-CoA gets stored into the cells, and whenever necessary of that body, there is synthesis of fatty acid. So this acetyl-CoA get converts or get utilized for the fatty acid synthesis, which is an long-term energy source for the body. So next enzyme, which is a major enzyme for the regulation of this glycolysis, that is phosphofructokinase. So fructose 6-phosphate get converts into fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. For this step conversion, we require the phosphofructokinase. So phosphofructokinase is usually the rate limiting step of glycolysis pathway. Phosphofructokinase is allosterically inhibited by ATP. Okay, so these ATP molecules inhibit the phosphofructokinase activity. At low concentration, the substrate ATP binds only at active site. At high concentration, ATP binds also at low affinity regulatory sites and promoting the trans conformations. Okay, so ample of ATPs is present in our body. So that's why this ATP acts as an inhibitor of that phosphofructokinase. Okay, so this is the overall pathway of glycolysis, and these are the 3 step rate limiting step of glycolysis. So first step, then third step, and next last step. Okay, so these 3 enzymes which is responsible for regulation of glycolysis pathway. I think you all have understand all the things which I have explained over here. So any queries regarding this glycolysis pathway, so you have to contact me through my email. My email is shrutali.spilankar@gmail.com. So thank you student, thank you for learning, thank you once again.